Need advice? Download the free Hello Doctor app on any mobile phone and connect with our doctors right away for reliable personal advice. Go to hellodoctor.com and chat to a doctor anytime, anywhere for less than the cost of an apple a day.
From babies to toddlers, young children need a daytime routine to learn when they're supposed to sleep, be awake and eat. Meg Faure is an occupational therapist, mother of 3 and co-author of Baby Sense, and has great advice for helping parents establish the right routine for their child.
So the key ingredients of a routine revolve around a baby's sleep and their awake times, and around feeding. So there are 2 aspects to a routine. One is how to get your baby into a feeding routine and whether or not it's age appropriate to do so. And the other aspect is how to get them into a day sleep routine and exactly what is age appropriate for a baby to be awake for during the day. A routine is important for babies, particularly for instance toddlers who need to know when meal times are coming. But even for little babies, sleep routines are very, very important. So if you miss your baby's awake time or the optimal time when they should go to sleep, they will become unplayable. So what happens is that as we approach the end of an awake time, we get drowsy, we want to fall asleep, and we're easier to get to sleep at that time. But if a mum misses her baby's awake time, so let's say your baby should be going down after an hour and suddenly it's an hour and a half and you haven't put your baby down, what happens is the baby goes into a second wind. In other words, they look more alert again, they look fine again, and the mum thinks, okay, well that was easy. They can stay awake for longer. But when you try and put that baby down now, the next time, they're much, much more overtired and they're much more fatigued. And what ends up happening is that they're more difficult to get to sleep then. And that's often when habits develop, things like rocking to sleep or driving around the block to sleep or whatever it is. In terms of day sleep routines, which is like how many sleeps do we have during the day and at what time do they happen, those are also important. So if you, for instance, are invited to a birthday party at 1:30 in the afternoon, but little Johnny sleeps at 12:30, well, you just need to know that you're going to be a little bit late for the party because you don't want to wake your baby up from a sleep in order to take him to a birthday party because he'll be unplayable. So day sleep routines become very important and you need to almost fit your life in around those.
The early stages of establishing a routine can be frustrating for moms and babies, so the trick is to stay calm and don't panic.
So some of the problems that can crop up with routines, I would start first of all with the mother. One issue is that the mother can become very, very anxious around routines. So if you expect your baby to go to sleep every day at 9 o'clock and they don't do it, that is why in Baby Sense we recommend that you go according to your baby's awake times as opposed to going according to the clock. So as opposed to saying every baby around the world goes to sleep at 9 o'clock in the morning. A second issue with routines is if a routine is tried to put in place, it's not age appropriate for the baby. In other words, for a newborn to stay awake for too long, or for a little one to stretch their feeds too long when they're having a growth spurt. That can cause discomfort for the baby, irritability, and if your baby's uncomfortable and irritable, well, that's hard for you too. Routines can get broken very easily, particularly if your baby's sick. So you could have a wonderful routine and you can think, I've really got this waxed, and then your little one gets sick. And this I often see with moms who've gone on holiday and they're completely out of routine and they think, oh, it's fine, the baby will just fit in with everyone's life while we're on holiday and can sleep wherever we are. But the reality is that you can upend the apple cart in a very big way and end up with a whole lot of problems later on. But in the same way, to re-establish a routine, it takes 3 or 4 days of discipline. So saying, okay, I'm not going out today, I'm not going to do the shopping when my baby should be going to sleep. I'm going to establish a routine very much based around my baby and look at being quite disciplined with it over a couple of days.
Every child is unique and their routine will be too. So the best practice is to take cues from your baby, not your friends.
My tips for getting a baby into a routine would be, first of all, to have a look at your baby's age, and then to actually create 2 columns on a page. So let's have a look at, let's say, a 6-month-old who we know is having 3 solid meals a day and let's say 4 milk feeds. So now you've got some sort of skeleton of feeding to work around. Then in the right-hand column, on your sleep column, you're going to say, right, what does my 6-month-old's awake time look like? So that's, let's say, an hour and a half that a 6-month-old can be awake. So you start to actually put these 2 feeding and sleep schedules together so that by the end of it, you've got a little routine that you can go, right, I know that at the moment my 6-month-old is sleeping at this time, feeding at this time. And when you've got that sort of plan to your day, it becomes easier to do something like leave your baby with a nanny to go out. And particularly for working moms who want to make sure that their baby's having a similar day during the week when they're not with them, or with the nanny or granny, for instance, as they're having on the weekend when mom's back at home. If there's only one thing that I left moms with, I would say try not to be too anxious around routines. Routines can create a lot of anxiety for moms that they want it to work exactly according to plan. Your baby hasn't read the book. Okay, you have, but your baby hasn't. And so don't think that they're going to absolutely do it the same way every day, and allow for some flexibility. Having said that, if you've got your plan as a backup, you can say, right, I know that within some flexibility, my baby's going to be going down at these approximate times or feeding at these approximate times. And having some sort of plan to your day makes you feel a little bit more in control, as long as you've got the flexibility with it.
A flexible routine built around your baby will help keep your baby calm and content. And a calm baby means one thing: a happy mom.
Need advice? Download the free Hello Doctor app on any mobile phone and connect with our doctors right away for reliable personal advice. Go to hellodoctor.com and chat to a doctor anytime, anywhere for less than the cost of an apple a day.